दृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ ननु जीवन्मुक्तः कः यथा देहोऽहं पुरुषोऽहं ब्राह्मणोऽहं शूद्रोऽहम् अस्मि इति दृढनिश्चयः तथा नाहं ब्राह्मणः न शूद्रः न पुरुषः किन्तु असङ्गः सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपः प्रकाशरूपः सर्वान्तर्यामी चिदाकाशरूपः अस्मि इति दृढनिश्चयरूपः अपरोक्षज्ञानवान् जीवन्मुक्तः। So aparokshajnanavan jivan muktah, one who is having a aparokshajnanam, aparokshajnanam which is generated by the Mahavakya without nididhyasana, that is called Atma is aparoksha. See, there are three things in the world. There are certain things which are which you know, whose existence you know, or which are evident to you through senses. They are all pratyaksha. So all they are called perceptible, and they are perceptible through the knowledge of perception, through the senses. So they are all called pratyaksha, perceptible. Then there is another group of objects which are not available right now for perception. Maybe they are away in terms of distance also, etc., or in terms of concept also. Well, so they are away in terms of time, in terms of place. Those objects are definitely, we call them paroksha. There also you have to use some means of knowledge, otherwise you won't get the knowledge. Whose existence you will not come to know without a particular means of knowledge, and that is mind. You are not using the senses, but you will have to use mind. That's called antakaranam. Karanam is sadhanam. Sadhanam for jnanam. That's how I have told you. So manaha and buddhihi, both these words denote what is their function. So manute anena iti manaha, buddhyate anena iti buddhihi, etc. So, by which you think, by which you know, is called manaha. By which you know is called buddhi also, buddhyate. Buddh dhatu means to know. Man dhatu means to think. Same thing, ultimately. So this antakaranam, manaha or buddhi, whatever you say, is also a sadhanam for to know a group of objects which are right now away in terms of time or in terms of place. And we call them, those objects, we call them paroksha jnana vishaya. Paroksha. So pratyaksham, paroksham. And which is not pratyaksham, which is not paroksham, is called aparoksham. So this is how we have to see. You should start with pratyaksham, which are perceptible first. Well, then that's one class of compounds, which is right now in terms of place and time, which is available to you. They are in front of you. So they are pratyaksham, pratyaksha vishayaha. And if they are not pratyaksham, for that the senses and the mind both are pramana. But then there are objects which are away in terms of time and place in this world. Then you have to know through only mind. Senses won't work because they are away. Then through only mind or buddhi, whatever you say. So then we call them as a paroksha, indirect objects. These are direct objects, perceptible to you. And those are not perceptible, indirect. So there are many things, through inference you arrive at, through presumption, etc., etc. Pratyaksha has a base, but the object is not pratyaksha. And we generally give an example of like a fire, the stock example. The fire on the hillock is paroksha right now for me. I see pratyaksha, that is smoke. But the fire is not available for perception, it is quite away. Because the mountain is I'm very far. But still I am able to see the smoke. So the fire is not perceptible to me. But yet I come to know the existence of the fire right now, which is paroksha. So the certain objects are paroksham, certain objects are pratyaksham. In fact, entire objective world I have covered. The things which are pratyaksham, part of the world. And other than pratyaksham, the entire creation, whatever is there, is paroksham. Black hole is paroksham, right? Is paroksham for me. Or a satellite right now, a particular satellite is paroksham. I am not able to see. So paroksham. So this is how the creation is divided into two. Certain part is pratyaksham, certain part is paroksham, and both are known through the means of knowledge available to the human being. That senses plus mind, you will get the knowledge of objects which are direct. And only mind, that's paroksha. Then what is left over? Entire objective world is covered. What is left over is the subject. So then how will you know the subject? Aparoksham. Not pratyaksham, not paroksham, aparoksham. Aparoksham means what? You should not have to use any means of knowledge and still you know your existence. That's aparoksham. You know that you exist. What is the means of knowledge? You know I am. What is the means of knowledge? No means of knowledge. In fact, any means of knowledge it has a prerequisite of I. Without I, no means of knowledge will function. Behind every means of knowledge, this pramata, the knower, is right there. And therefore the pramata, which does not require either a senses to know, either mind to know, it is aparoksham. It's aparoksham. So that's we call as immediate. Now not direct, indirect, but immediate. Immediate means without any intervention of means of knowledge. So I know I exist. Existence of I is proved by I. Evidence of I is evident to the eye. So that is how it is. I am self-existent, self-evident, we call like that. Any other thing, whether I exist or not, in the entire objective world, exist or not, depends upon the means of knowledge. If I don't use the means of knowledge, I will not know the thing exists or not. So entire objective world requires for their existence to prove a means of knowledge, and of course a knower also is required. Knower plus means of knowledge will prove the entire, the existence of the entire world. But the subject, the existence of the subject is proved by the subject itself. So it is called self-existent. And this is not called self-existent. This existence depends upon the existence of the self. Right? Self is self-existent. And this object's existence depends upon ultimately the self. So this is mithya. That is how this is mithya. This cannot prove the existence of itself. And therefore, ultimately it is mithya. So pratyaksha vishaya, paroksha vishaya is equal to the entire world. It has a dependent existence, and that dependent existence, on where it has a dependence for existence, on the self. And the self-existence, the existence of the self is proven by the self itself. So self is self-existent, it's called satyam, and the entire objective world is called mithya. This is how we have to know. But here in terms of aparoksha jnana means basically I am Brahman, I should know. I am, for that matter, you need not have to go to Vedanta. Before you go to Pramana, before you go to the teacher, before you go to Vedanta and expose yourself, you are right there. Pramana itself proves the Pramata is there before. Otherwise, what is the use of Pramana if Pramata is not there? So, the knower's existence is automatically proved. It has not been proven by the Pramana. The knower existence is proven by the knower itself. But the existence of the known, the world, depends upon the existence of Pramana and the existence of knower behind that. So ultimately the knower is self-existent, is called aparoksha. Without any means of knowledge, it proves its existence. It is independently existent. It is self-effulgent, self-existent, self-evident. Swatasiddha, etc. etc. Swayam prakasha, we say. So that's how they say prakasha rupa. Anyway, so who is this Jivan Mukta has been defined here. Yatha dehoham. So aparoksha jnanavan Jivan Mukta. I am Brahman, but ultimately. So you are Brahman, you require pramana. For existence of you, you don't require a pramana. You are a conscious being, you don't require a pramana. But you are consciousness, the very limitless consciousness, and you are the only, you are the truth of the entire creation. You are the adhishthanam of the entire creation. Definitely you require pramana, and that pramana is a Vedanta. So aparoksha jnanavan Jivan Muktaha, one who possesses this aparoksha jnana. What kind of aparoksha jnana, that also has been described. Yatha dehoham, purushoham, brahmanoham, shudroham, ahamasmi iti dridhanishayah. Just as when the person was ignorant and he says, I am deha, I am purusha, I am brahmana, etc., I am shudra, etc. Iti dridhanishayah. He has a very firm conviction. And so, very firm conviction. Even he just gets up from the sleep and he tells, yeah, I am brahmana, without any thinking. Dridhanishayah means without any thinking he declares. And tatha, in the same manner, na aham brahmana, he just now tells whatever he was telling in the state of ignorance. When he gets knowledge, he has to tell opposite, right? And so, as an ignorant, he was telling, I am brahmana. Now, in wake of knowledge, if ignorance goes, what will he tell? I am not brahmana, that's all, right? So, because of ignorance, he was telling, I am brahmana, I am a human being, etc., etc. Now, he has to tell opposite to that, and simply not telling. Of course, he may not have a doubt, but he might have vagueness also. Yeah, I may be Brahman. then definitely you need Nididhyasanam. So, because this will happen. It will happen for some time. It is going to happen. Nothing to worry about. This is a process. This is a process and this will happen. Even you get a clarity, then still people get, frustrated. After getting clarity, then still they get frustrated because again and again this thing comes up. I am Brahmana, I am the human being, I am this, I am this, I am this. And people get frustrated. They should not get frustrated. This is a process. Because since this Dehatma Bhavana is so long, so keep doing, keep doing, keep doing. But Swamiji, by the time the life will end, don't worry. Bhagavan is taking care. Why should you worry about it? Anyway, all the texts declare that, nothing to worry about. That, you get in. One thing is certain, I told you I think yesterday, right? So, if you come to this spiritual path, one thing is certain that you will not have any lower birth in the next life. You won't become a mosquito. that is assurance by the Bhagavan in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So, because our Arjuna, the champion, he used to ask this. He asked actually. Because after a whole section of Atma Jnanam and Karma Yoga and everything over, and he found that he could not make it. That's a too tall order. And therefore I will not be able to get this knowledge. So he put this question. Bhagavan was a teacher, you imagine. After Bhagavan imparted the knowledge, he was able to make up this question that what will happen if I don't get Jnanam in this life. And Bhagavan said very calmly that don't worry at all. In next life you will get a birth in this family or in this family. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Kule or else is Kule Bhavati Dhimatam, etc. etc. So definitely you will get so that proves that you will have a human birth. That's for sure. Bhagavan did not tell directly, but he said, so we will not have to worry. Next life will be definitely human life, and whatever the homework we have done in this life, we will begin from that point. And many people in this situation also have found like this. Suddenly they found interest in this and they start attending classes and everything. They get involved in it, they get committed to this knowledge. So then definitely some homework is there of previous life. Anyway, so yatha devoham purushoham brahmanoham shudroham asmiti dridhanishayah tatha naham brahmanah na shudrah na purushah kintu asangah. I am uninvolved with anything. I am totally uninvolved with the body, totally uninvolved with the mind, totally uninvolved with the everything basically. And therefore, even though it looks that I am inside the body, it's not that. All the bodies, all the names and forms are within me, as they are non-separate from me. And as they are non-separate, as the pot cannot affect to the clay. Same way, I am unaffected by any attributes of name and form. Asangaha, Satchidananda Swarupaha. Well, Satchidananda Swarupaha exists. We have seen that. So I am going ahead. Prakasha Rupaha. I am the consciousness. I illumine myself and I illumine the entire world. All the names and forms are illumined by me. Well, Sarvantaryami. And Sarvantaryami, we have seen that. So I'm not the one who is locked up or confined to this body, mind, sense complex. I mean, not a given body, mind, sense complex. If you want to say I am confined to all the body, mind, sense complex. Sarvantaryami, because Antassan Yamayati Anti Antaryami. That's how Antassan, remaining inside, controls everything. And Atma controls everything. Without having a concept of the controller, he controls everything. Clay controls everything. Entire clay world is controlled by the clay. Because the very existence is provided to the entire clay world by the clay. One who provides existence controls everything. That is how it is. And therefore, in a primary sense, you may not call a controller sitting like somewhere and, having all kinds of things in order to control. Yes, it's not like that. Just by its nature, it controls everything. Even on the part of clay, there is not a sankalpa or a will that I am controlling the clay world. There is no sankalpa at all. Just by being the clay being a clay, The clay, being the clay itself, controls entire clay world. All the parts and everything. That's how it is. So Paramatma is really, this is a wonderful thing. So Sarvantaryami means he Antasan. Well, he remaining inside as though control. Remaining inside means as a Pratyeka Atma, as the Adhishthanam of everything. Well, the very existence of every name and form is due to consciousness. That's my nature. Chidakasha Rupaha. And so if it is inside, then who is outside? So says Chidakasha Rupa. Where is space? You cannot say the space is inside or outside. Space is everywhere. And that very space also is illumined by the consciousness. Space exists in consciousness. Consciousness does not exist in space. We have discussed this to a very great length. So, consciousness and space. Space exists in consciousness. Consciousness does not exist in space. How can you say that? If consciousness exists in space, then space will remain, consciousness will go. Yeah. Like body is in body is in space. Space will remain, body will go. Body will come in space, will go in space. Body will come in time, goes in time. But then now think, space and consciousness. What comes and what goes? What comes and what goes? Think. Time comes and time goes, or consciousness comes and consciousness goes in time? Time goes. Space goes. Consciousness remains. Then what exists in what? That's how it is. What exists in what? Space is, consciousness is. Space is not, consciousness is. Time is, consciousness is. Time is not, consciousness is. Yeah? And again go to the Shruti. Tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhuta. A space, time, everything has come from the Atma. Therefore, Atma is existent before the space. From the Atma the space comes, means the space exists in Atma. The space exists in Atma, and that space, well, with reference to space, you cannot say anything outside and inside. Then definitely with reference to Atma, you cannot say anything inside or outside. So don't think Sarvantaryami means, oh, it is remaining inside, it controls everything. Then who is controlling outside? Don't think that. It's Chidakasha Rupa. That Akasha is a Bhutakasha. This is Chidakasha. The consciousness is all pervading. What it wants to convey is the consciousness is all pervading. The nearest example we give is of Akasha for Atma. Nearest example. Because Atma is a Nirguna and Akasha has one guna. Akasha seems to be all pervading, inside, outside. Same way, even Atma also is all pervading. Anyway, including the space. Everything is pervaded by Akasha. Everything pervaded by Chidakasha, with the consciousness, all pervading. All inside, outside, all concepts are within consciousness. That's all. Everything, all concepts are within consciousness. Anyway, so previous, and then it says, okay, Sachidananda Swarupaha, Prakasha Rupaha, Sarvantaryami, Chidakasha Rupaha, Asmi, Iti Drada Nishchaya Rupaha. So this kind of a firm conviction he has, and that kind of a Paroksha Jnanam. I am this. Yeah, Brahman is like this, it is Paroksha Jnanam. Brahman is Chidakasha Rupaha. Brahman illumines everything. Brahman is Sachidananda Swarupaha. Brahman is Chidakasha Rupaha. Brahman or Paramatma is one which is not affected by anything. If you say that, you have a Paroksha Jnana. Brahman is like that, but that Brahman is Atma. And that Atma means me. Oh, so I am like that. That is generated only through Mahavakya. So Mahavakya gives a Paroksha Jnana. Even this firm conviction without Nididhyasanam, this firm conviction should arise out of Mahavakya Shravanam and Mananam. That's all. That is called firm conviction. And this is aparoksha jnanam. Aparoksha jnanam is not generated by nididhyasanam. People have a misconception that Shravanam Mananam gives Paroksha Jnanam and Nididhyasanam gives Aparoksha Jnanam. Sadhanam is only one. For Aparoksha Vastu, the Jnanam, generated, Aparoksha Jnanam generated of a Aparoksha Vastu, and that Sadhanam is only one. Mahavakya Vichara. The Shravanam and Mananam of Mahavakya. Nididhyasanam is not generating Aparoksha Jnanam. Nididhyasanam is just removing the error, which without that you will have sometime that vagueness. But Aparoksha Jnanam is a firm conviction that, well, whatever talks in the Shastra through the Mahavakya, whatever the Lakshanas has been given of a Brahman, that Brahman is me. If that is not arisen, don't try to jump on to Nididhyasanam. Never do that job. What Mahavakya Shravanam can do, nothing can do. Aparoksha Jnanam should be generated through the Mahavakya Shravanam and Mananam. No, but Swamiji, it is not, I am not able to get the clarity that I am that Brahman which is Asanga, Chidakasha Rupa. Well, then do again. Bhuyo vichara. It has just come in the Panchadashi also. Vidyaranya Swami advises, do it again. Do it again. But still it is not happening. Then do it again. No, it is not happening. I am telling you, are you not able to listen? No, I am able to listen. Then do that upasana. Nirguna Brahma upasana you do. I am Brahman. Well, that will remove your pratibandha, because some pratibandha is there. But how can you say, I find a pratibandha in teacher and perhaps pratibandha in a shastra. I don't have any pratibandha. I am a ready person. Like Nachiketa, I don't have any pratibandha. One teacher, one text and 60 students. Then why some person gets clarity and why other does not get clarity? One text, one teacher, one class. Then why some people get clarity and why some people don't get clarity? What is the fault of a teacher or a shastra? It's a fault on the part of the student. Yeah. So the wise step is go to upasana. Yeah. Some pratibandha is there. Pratibandha cannot be removed by Mahavakya. That kind of a pratibandha, adrishta pratibandha is there. Better do upasana, which will generate adrishtam, which will remove that pratibandha, and then again start listening. And you will find that now you are able to appreciate. That is what is. So that is how in chapter 9 of Panchadashi this very beautifully described about Nirguna Brahma Upasana. But I don't want to do Upasana. Okay, then keep listening. Keep listening. Sureshwaracharya ji tells in Nishkarma Siddhi, well, the Shravanam itself will be able to give you nishtha. He goes to that extent. The Shravanam itself will do that. But Swamiji, how long I should do that Shravanam? Yeah, how long you should eat dosai or dosai, whatever. How long you should eat that idli? Yeah, you should be able to answer or I should answer. How many idlis you should eat, that you should tell me. How can I tell? That's how it is. Till your hunger satisfies, you keep eating. That's what it is. So you know your hunger, our teacher doesn't know your hunger. So therefore, definitely keep listening. Listening. Bhuyo vichara pauna punyena shravanam kuryat. Keep doing that. So Swamiji, I am tired of Shravanam. How can you get a tiredness? If you get tiredness, be alert. Karmas are exhausted. Punya karmas are getting exhausted. The Shravanam, etc., you have come to the teacher and you know that contact has occurred due to Punya karmas. You have come to Vedanta, got exposure of a teacher and the teaching and the Shastra. Well, if you feel that you are now getting enough of it, well, think that the Punya karmas are getting exhausted. That's your earning. And definitely earning gets exhausted. It has an expenditure. And therefore, that's how always a wise step. We always tell that keep doing some Punya karmas along with. Keep doing that. Karma yoga, etc. Nitya Naimitya karmas. Keep doing. Don't ever get any air that, okay, everything is mithya. and karta is mithya, karma is mithya, well, that stage will come, automatically things will drop. But basically, keep doing something good in your life. Nitya Naimitya karmas or karma yoga, that is very, very essential thing. And therefore, because ultimately what they are talking about you is not boring thing. You are limitless, and you are the one who is illuminating the entire world. You are the adhishthanam of everything. You are the owner of the entire world. In fact, that's correct. You are owner of the entire world. So it is all the glory, in fact. And if somebody is singing your glory and praising you, and still you get tired, means that is something very special, very special. So anyway, what is required is, the wise step is, do some religious activity daily, puja, etc. also. People, some of the acharyas also I have found, they say, throw everything. This is all, this is a toys, and what they say, this all religion, etc. is mithya. This is mithya, religious activity is mithya. That doesn't work. It might have worked for the acharya. It doesn't work for all. And so wise step is, have a karma yoga in life. That's how Bhagavan did not allow Arjuna just that you go and just listen and sit down under a tree and listen to the teacher. No. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Do with a certain attitude, karma. So that attitude of karma yoga is very, very essential. And karma yoga brings this, all the pratibandhas go from your life, and you will get a clarity. Anyway, Mahavakya Shravanam itself should generate in you aparoksha jnana. Till then, keep doing. Well, then question of a dehatma bhavana, etc., that's due to samskara, and that will go also in course of time. So, Dhrida Nishchaya, that is aparoksha jnanam, because vastu is aparoksha, and therefore the aparoksha jnanam, the immediate knowledge, is generated through this Amahavakya vichara. And one who has this is a Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means what? Living, he is liberated. Living, he is liberated. And he is Jiva because he has the body, mind, sense complex. As long as it is there, he is a Jiva as such, as a Badhita Jiva, he will continue. That does not disappear. When he discovers that I am Sachidananda, still Jiva continues. He says, I am Sachidananda, and still Jiva continues. Now you understand what I want to convey, is Badhita. That will continue, because this body, mind, sense complex is there. Therefore, the reflection will be there. That ego is going to arise in the mind, definitely. But ego is mithya, he knows. I am the Sakshi of the Ahankara, he knows very clearly. I am Sachidananda, who is the Sakshi of the ego. Ahankara is very clear to him. But it doesn't mean the ego will go away. Ego will remain till the prarabdha is there, the body, mind, sense complex is there, till then ego will remain, but it is badhitam. Just as you know that there is no sunrise, but the sunrise will be there next day. So, but that sunrise is badhitam. Perceptually it is there, but in your understanding it is not there. You have got knowledge of a science, through the science. So I am a Sachidananda, well, he knows it. And why you call Muktaha? Well, because he is free. So Jivan. Jivan means what? He is Jiva right now, still. Jivan means that Badhita Jiva. That's what I want to convey. So Jiva Dhatu is there. So living as a Jiva actually, but it is Badhita. And Muktaha is free in spite of this limited body, mind, sense complex. So there is no bondage. So it's called Jivan Muktaha. Living, he is liberated. While living, he is liberated. So this freedom is available right now, and this is a potential a human being has, of course, with the power that is how everything becomes fruitful. The karma yoga is possible, sannyasa is possible, religious gain, means are there, and a particular direction is there. All this is meaningful because one can get liberation in this life. Otherwise, this will be a belief. If this dharma will talk about that you will be liberated, you keep doing all this karma yoga and you keep listening to shastra and everything, you will get a mukti after death. Who will believe that? But it has a validity, and this is so meaningful because it says while living itself you are free. This will make you free while living. So then it makes a sense, because it is available for me to experience that liberation, to mukti. And this is how this Vedic dharma is very, very special. So as a human being or in some equivalent form, we have an adequate free will, and this jiva gets a chance to fulfill that, to become free from the jivatvam, from the limitations. How many people make use of this chance is a different thing altogether, but then as a human being, you get a chance, there is a possibility of getting freedom in this life itself. Anyway, let's go ahead now. Brahmaivahamasmi iti aparokshajnanena nikhila karma bandha vinirmuktihi syat. Brahmaivahamasmi, Brahma eva aham asmi eva. I am indeed Brahman. Iti, so thus, iti aparoksha jnanena. The Brahman which is talked about in the Shastra through the Mahavakya and the shown the Aikyam, oneness with the Jiva, that Brahman is myself, indeed myself. So one who has this kind of immediate knowledge, aparoksha jnanam, well, then what happens? Nikhila karma bandha vinirmuktihi syat. He would be totally free from all the bonds of karma. Now, so he has introduced the topic of karma now. And so he will show how the Jivan Mukta becomes a Videha Mukta. He will be free from all the kinds of karmas, and so he will not have a next Janma, because Janma requires karma, etc. And there are 3 types of karmas, etc. And he will become free from all the 3 types of karma, etc. etc. So he has introduced the topic now. Nikhila karma bandha vinirmukti. By saying that, he has introduced the topic of karma and the types of karma, etc. So, I am Brahman, well, one who knows this with, aparoksha jnana, immediate knowledge, one who has, would be totally free from, basically, ignorance. And as a consequence, he is also free from anything which is born of ignorance also. Because if ignorance gone, then what is born of ignorance also will not remain. Then the first thing which is born of ignorance is kartrutvam. I have told you the doership. Where actually doership lies, I have shown you also. In the entire body-mind sense complex, there is somewhere doership. Not in Atma, not in the conscious entity. There is no conscious, the conscious entity is not basically a karta. I have shown you where the kartrutvam lies. If you remember, we have seen that when we have talked about in the Bhagavad Gita, Nayam Hantina Hanyat, etc. Then when Atma is free from the kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam, etc. I have shown you the kartrutvam lies in the mind actually. And well, and the ego claims it. When the consciousness is reflected in the mind, and then ego claims that kartrutvam of the mind and says I am karta, etc. etc. We have seen that. Anyway, so the kartrutvam is born of actually ignorance, doership, and where there is a doership, there is also enjoyership also. Bhoktrutvam also lies there. The experiencer of the result. And so kartrutva and bhoktrutva born of ignorance. The person who knows, have a aparoksha jnanam that I am Brahman, well, then definitely he is free from, Brahman is free from kartrutva, bhoktrutva, and therefore he also says I am free from kartrutva and bhoktrutva. And in the bhoktrutva, he is a bhokta of a certain situation, certain pleasant situation, which are all punya, and a lot of difficult, unpleasant situations, like from a mosquito bite onwards, everything, which are papa. So these different types of punya and papa are the results of action that he experiences, he undergoes as a bhokta, as experiencer. So, in a karma model and without karma model, both way we can look upon this thing. In a karma model, we say the person is completely free from the bondage of karma. That's what here has been told. Nikhilam means all. Nikhilam and akhilam has the same meaning, and that is all. So he is free from all the karma, bondage of karma bandha. So bondage of all the karmas, and the type of karma we will be seeing later. So this is one way of saying. From the karma model, we can say he has become free from all the three types of karma, prarabdha, etc., agami, and everything. Prarabdha is of course undergoing. We'll see that. And without karma model, he can say that this individual is free from the ignorance and therefore free from doership and enjoyership. And then if he is free from the doership and enjoyership, he doesn't have any guilt. There is a guilt, but he says, I don't have a guilt. There is a hurt, but he says, I'm not getting hurt. I'm free from the hurt. That's what it is. There is no guilt and no hurt. That's a wrong statement. There is guilt and hurt, but not in the self. There is guilt and hurt in the mind. That's correct. And ego claims it. That's a different thing. But ego is a false entity. There is ego. Ego is a really funny entity, I tell you. It's a funny entity. It has no substance. This ego, see, what happens is, if you look into the ego, you will find both the things. It's called Chit Jad Granthi. Chit Jad Granthi means a knot. Granthi means a knot, K-N-O-T. It's a knot between a conscious entity and inert entity. It can never happen. A mixture, that mixture can never happen. Inert thing and conscious thing get together in a mixie, and you run that mixie and you get ego. Ego is a really funny entity. It has no basis at all. If you analyze, it falls apart totally. You won't get anything which really gets subscribed to ego. Nothing. Ego means I thought, which is conscious, right? This is a conscious I. Well, that is I means I thought. So I thought belongs to the mind, and consciousness belongs to the Atma. What is of the ego? What is of the ego? That is how the mithya is. It stands tall, but it has no existence of its own. Something borrowed from here and something borrowed from here. It's exactly like your reflection in a mirror. Reflection in a mirror looks like it's an entity, right? It looks like an entity, but you will find that that entity has certain attributes of the mirror and certain attributes of this body. And when you give it, those attributes, if you give it, you find that nothing left for that entity itself. This is how it is. That is how this ego is anirvachaniyam. You cannot tell it is there. Sad asad vilakshanam. You cannot tell it is there. Really it is there. You cannot tell. You cannot tell it is not there, because in all the time, in all the three states it is there. In one state it is in a rudimentary form, in other two states is as a sleeper, as a waker. Well, so you cannot dismiss it also. You cannot call it as a real entity also, because if you analyze, it doesn't remain. And for that ego, everything in the creation, all problems arise ultimately for ego. Including even purusharthas are also ego trips. Yeah, people earn money initially for security. Later, earning of money is an ego trip. Yeah, just an ego trip. He has a big corporation which is a turnover of 100 crores. And still he has an eye on another corporation in United States. Why? Because he wants to get a hold of the another corporation. Why? You have 100 crore turnover and you are getting it 50 crore, in terms of rupees I am telling you, dollars also you can say, because it doesn't belong to us, no, nothing to worry. You can say $100 billion, $50 billion. And what I am saying is, Pujya Swamiji calls it as an ego trip. Just merely ego trip. It is not meant for security. Initial pursuit of a money is for security. Later the pursuit of money is an ego trip. Every way. Even initial knowledge, pursuit of a knowledge is maybe for security. I want to acquire a knowledge, I want to have certain skills, etc. Otherwise I would not be able to stand in this organization. So initially we have all this. Later pursuit of knowledge is a ego trip. You want to show that you are knowledgeable. That's all it means. You want to show to others that you are a knowledgeable person. So all our pursuits except moksha, where the ego will be totally gone, totally. So all pursuits, even people have a pursuit of a religion. People are dharmic. In fact, they have a better, they have more ego than other people. They feel they are only dharmikas in this world, and they all the time tell you, see, look, I have spoken truth. Hey, who has obliged to whom? If you speak truth, that's for your sake. You are not obliging to us. But so dharma is something really, it is a spiritual ego or a religious ego we call. But that's also ego trip. Because what can a person do? This ego has to inflate itself. Because the base is, the limitless. And therefore, and ego is a limited entity. But the very basis is limitless, and you don't know, the ego doesn't know that I am a limitless. So under the spell of ignorance, he considers himself as a limited entity. And so he has to become big. He has to become big. That's a very genuine desire on the part of ego to become big. Till he becomes limitless. Till he knows he is limitless. That trip will remain. Anyway, but what I want to convey is this. Look at the Vedanta. If you really analyze ego, you won't find the whole ego vanishes. Because part of it goes to the mind, part of it goes to the consciousness. That's all. Nothing of ego itself. And for the sake of that, people, they spend so much of time, precious time, in order to make it a little bigger. If you know you are already limitless, well, the whole pursuit goes away from this. That's a Purushartha Viveka. Anyway, I get a chance, at least even we are going to finish the text. Before that, whatever I want to convey, I am trying to convey. Anyway, so Brahmaiva ahamasmi iti aparoksha jnanena nikhila karma bandha vinirmukti syat. He says, I am not having any hurt. I am not having any guilt. That's correct. Mind has a guilt, mind has a hurt. Or ego has a guilt, ego has a hurt, because ego is a claimer without doing anything. So Atma is free, Purna. This is the result of this immediate knowledge. And well, from the standpoint of karma, if the jiva has survived death, it means he has always been around. And so, because number of karmas are there, so not only karmas in this lifetime, of course, he has gathered many karmas even in the previous life. And so, the Jivan Mukta is free from the bondage of all types of karma. How, etc., we are going to see that. Means, if bondage of karma bandha, it has been told. So then karma binds, it means. Because bondage of karma means karma must be binding. Yeah, it's a bondage of karma, basically being a karta. Being a karta, you are bound by the karma, otherwise karma cannot bound. So basic bondage is the bond. Of course, you are a karta and therefore karma binds, but then you are a karta itself is due to ignorance. So therefore ignorance is the cause of a bondage ultimately, which creates in you a notion that I am jiva, I am karta, I am bhokta, etc. And karma has a limitation, and the sense of limitation, of course, will, it will start the problem. You are karta, bhokta, you are feeling limited, and so you will do karma. And once you do karma, you will have a karma phala, and once you experience the karma phala, you will have vasanas born from the experience, and then those will give rise to another desires. From that desire, you will do karma, and then karma phala. This is chakka. And in one life, you cannot experience everything, all karma phalas, even drashta, adrashta. So drashta you may be enjoying, but you have created adrashta also. And then definitely you require another life. And that is how another birth and this is how another life, this is how it continues. So, we can solve this basic problem. The notion should go, well, I am Sachidananda, I am not this jiva or karta or bhokta, etc. So this is how it has been looked upon. Now, let's see what three types of karmas are there. The one is a agami, other is a sanchita, and third is a prarabdha. So these karmas are many and varied, of course. That is why, because how can you say they are many and varied? Because our experiences are not the same. Experiences which is result of the karma, if they themselves are not the same, if results are not the same, definitely the cause of it, which is action, also must be many and varied. And so they call karma as a Vishwatomukham. Vishwatomukham means which has an eye on every side. Karma has an eye every side. Means when the karma gives you a karma phala, the karma has to take care of every factor. Every factor. And what are the factors? My God, karma has to take care of time, place, parentage, personal world, contemporary society, in everything. Before giving you karma phala, it has to taken into account all these things and many more. And then karma can give you karma phala. And so, this is how, therefore we have to say, Nana vidhani karmani, they are many and varied. And this karma combination and how they express themselves in a situation, they are amazing. And so, definitely it's a very complex network. That's how Bhagavan said very beautifully in the 4th chapter, Karmana Gahano Gati. The Karmana, the Gahana Gati means you will not know how the karma results into a karma phala. No one will know. No one will know. And we have just discussed also a few things like, so you do an action, that's one thing. But after doing that, how it will give rise to a karma phala, how many factors contribute to your karma, to result into, to shape into a karma phala, there are innumerable factors. And therefore all are taken into account. And that's very, very difficult to know how a person gets a karma phala. So anyway, so Vishwatomukham karma. Karma, before it gives rise to a karma phala, it takes into account time, place and everything. So, and these many and varied karmas are grouped into 3. And from the standpoint of the order of fructification. And that is how it has been said here. Karmani kati vidhani santi iti chet agami sanchit prarabdha bhedena trividhani santi. Karmani kati vidhani santi iti chet, if asked, or if you ask, whatever it is. If iti chet means generally if asked. If you say so. Like generally we tell to Purvapakshi like that. If you say, if you have a such and such doubt, then we have to say like that. So, iti chet, if asked, karmani kati vidhani santi, how many kinds of karmas are there? Then the answer is agami sanchita prarabdha bhedena, with differences in terms of 3 main groups, agami, sanchita and prarabdha. Trividhani, 3 types of karmas are there. As such, karmas are many and varied. Nana vidhani means, nana means many, vidhani means varied, but we broadly divide into 3 groups. And then each karma has been described. I mean, the definition has been given. Agami karma kim jnanotpatti anantaram jnani deha kritam punya papa rupam karma yadasti tad agami iti abhidhiyate. Agami karma kim? What is agami karma? Karma in the form of the result of an action, that is karma in the form of punya and papa, performed by what? Very, very interesting thing. Jnanotpatti anantaram jnani deha kritam punya papa rupam. So, the karma in the form of punya and papa, that is the result of an action performed by the body of a wise person, and that when jnanotpatti anantaram, after the dawn of a knowledge, after the arise of a knowledge, is called agami karma. So karma in the form of punya papa performed by not a wise person, performed by the body of the wise person. Definitely, because he is no more a karta. So otherwise, for you and me, it has been told that okay, Swami has performed this karma. For Jnani, you cannot tell like that, because Jnani is clear. Well, we know that he has performed karma, but he is clear, he doesn't do anything. Well, and therefore, Nayam Hanti Nahanya. I don't kill, I am not getting killed. We have seen that. So Jnani knows very well that I am not a karta, because the ignorance has gone. So then but still body performs varieties of the karmas. So performed by the body of the wise, that is what has been asked. In Brahma Sutra it has been a big discussion that Jnani people do lots of punya karmas. So many, in fact whole life, even after getting knowledge, what till their prarabdha is over, they do keep on doing good karmas. You may be seeing Pujya Swamiji or you may be seeing Shankaracharya or anyone. So many good karmas. Then our question is, what happens to that punyam generated by, because we are interested in that. Perhaps one student says, well, if I do a seva service to the Jnani, then his punya will come to me or not. he wants to, because his Jnani's earning is not his earning basically. So then the people who are surrounded by, who are surrounded to that Jnani, they think that at least they will get a share from that he is earning, because he is not using his earning. So then definitely we should get it. That's how it is. So anyway, Brahma Sutra has been there very nicely. This discussion is there in the 4th chapter. What I am saying is, so performed by the body of a wise person, a wise man, Ajnanotpatti Anantaram, after the dawn of knowledge, is called Agami Karma. Because here we are discussing with respect to Jivan Mukti. With Ajnana is what to discuss. Nothing to discuss. Whether 5 types of karma or 10 types of karma. But what happens to a karma of a Jivan Mukta? That is where we are interested. So that's how it is told like this. Sanchitam karma kim ananta koti janmanam bija bhutam sat yat karma jatam purvarjitam tishtati tat sanchitam gneyam ananta koti janmanam, in countless crores of birth. One crore means 10 million. Here in United States, nothing will be in crores, only in millions. Anyway, so 1 crore 10 millions, countless millions, billions and trillions, you can say, of birth. So Ananta Koti Janmanam, in countless births, Karma Jatam Purvarjitam, the accumulated load of this karma that was gathered before, Purvarjitam, Purve Arjitam. Arjitam means basically, Arjidhatu means to earn, Arjitam, earned. So the accumulated load of karma that was earned before, Bija Bhutam, all these karma which he has earned, is going to fructify. In which form they are? Bija Bhutam, in a seed form. Yat Tishtati, in a seed form it remains, it stands. Tat, that. Sanchitam Gneyam, that is called Sanchita karma, is to be known. So what is a Sanchit karma, if you ask? What is the accumulated result of action? The accumulated load of karma is that was gathered before in countless crowds of birth and which exist in the form of in a seed form, is to be known as a Sanchitam. That is how it is told. Prarabdham karma kim iti chet idam shariram utpadya iha loke evam sukha dukkhadi pradam yat karma tat prarabdham bhogena nashtam bhavati prarabdha karmanam bhogat eva kshayah iti. So prarabdham karma kim iti chet, If asked that what is prarabdha karma, well, we say that karma having created this body in this world in this manner, means in this parentage and in this kind of a particular kind of a body which gives comfort and pain, etc., pleasure and pain, is prarabdham. And when it gets destroyed, bhogena nashtam bhavati, it gets destroyed by going through the experiences of pleasure and pain. And then prarabdha karmanam bhogadeva kshayah. Well, we say this prarabdha karmanam, the prarabdha karma only gets exhausted by going through the experiences of pleasure and pain. Now, all the three we will have to see in little in detail, that we will see tomorrow. We have just defined it. Now, tomorrow we will see in little in detail. And then what happens to Jivan Mukta's karma, that also we will see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.